Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. Today we have Pollyanna. This is the 1960 film. It's 2 hours and 14 minutes long. It's pretty long for one of the older Disney films. Although maybe 20,000 Leagues was pretty long too. But it's a very different movie. This is the story of a young girl who is ding ding Disney trope, loses both her parents, double dead parents. Not the usual one dead parent thing. When we first see her, she's getting off a train. She's going to move in with her Aunt Polly. I guess they weren't really that creative with names, but Pollyanna. Anyway, Aunt Polly is a rich single woman by choice in many cases. Some of which she won't admit. But she's wealthy, and whereas her sister, her deceased sister and brother-in-law, I think it was Pollyanna's sister that she was related to. Yeah, they were astoundingly poor, to the point where they once there's a story that she tells that they asked missionaries to send a doll, like a secondhand doll, for Pollyanna to have. And instead, they sent crutches. Not sure how they screwed that one up, but yeah, they were really poor because they couldn't get a doll. They had to spend it on food, any money they had. And Aunt Polly, she's living high in the hog in wherever this is. I'm not sure where this is set, but yeah, she's Pollyanna just happens to move in with her. She is the sweetest, most polite, kindest, gentlest little girl you could possibly imagine. I realize some people use the term Pollyanna, hey, yeah, Pollyanna, as sort of an insult to say somebody is maybe weak or effeminate or whatever. The strength this girl's strength is her absolute non-beguiling, wide open innocence and kindness in every situation. She finds the best in everyone and everything, every situation she's in. And she doesn't do it knowingly. It's literally just who she is. She doesn't use it to manipulate people. She doesn't go, well, if I'm nice and somebody will be nice to me. She's not even thinking of that. Yeah. And starting this movie, again, having very little knowledge of what was going to happen in the film, what was going to happen at all. I mean, what it was all about. I was skeptical, just like everybody she runs into in this town. Harrington, I think, is the name of the town. She named, by the way, after her grandfather. So I'm trying to figure out how the one daughter of Mr. Harrington is super rich, while the other one, I guess, married off to a preacher and was super poor. Anyway, everybody in this town is pretty much skeptical and really curmudgeon-y about when they come in contact with Pollyanna for the first time, especially. Everybody's mean to her. Everybody's really gruff. The house in which she's moved into, her aunt sticks her up in like the attic, in this tiny little room up in the attic, because she's not used to children noises. All the help, she has at least 3 women and a driver, I think, or a butler, who they're the main help in the house, and they're all kind of jaded and angry and grumpy about everything. Angelica, let me look up her name here. Was she on the Andy Griffith show or something? I can't remember what she was on, but she played a man, or she played 2 men actually. There's, by the way, oh yeah, Mary Grace Canfield. She's probably best known for Green Acres. Oh, she was on Green Acres. She played, Ralph Monroe. yeah, okay. Anyway, she's super grumpy, and she's one of my favorite characters in this because she's really funny and with her expressions. Because she's not buying the BS that Aunt Polly is throwing down half the time. Everything has to be so proper, and she's trying to make Pollyanna, who it does not a one thing wrong, and asks questions openly, not realizing that she could offend anybody. Um, every chance Polly gets, she corrects her and tries to fix something about her. Uh, to be fair, she when she arrived, she was in the rattiest dress, and after dinner, she's like, "Do you have steak and ice cream?" And and I'm getting diverted mentally every single time I say something here. But Aunt Polly's like, no, not really. Why? Is there something wrong with the food? Don't you like your food? She's like, no, well, my dad always said this. And he's like, hey, stop talking about your dad. I'm sick of you talking about your dad. Your dad's saying stuff. Knock it off. Okay, well, thank you for the dinner. Can I give you a hug? And the woman, Aunt Polly's like, I guess. And Pollyanna just gives it a great big bear hug, and you can tell that this woman is not used to this kind of affection, and she steps away, and she doesn't really know how to react to her, and the reason why I mentioned the dress is and even though she changed out of her ratty dress into a nicer dress that she had provided for her, she still said, that dress is awful. Tomorrow we're going shopping. And the girl is flabbergasted. Pollyanna's flabbergasted at the idea that she's going to get new clothing. Not that was handed down from somebody else or borrowed or, given in a charity or whatever else. She's getting brand new clothes at the most expensive store you can possibly imagine, where Aunt Polly, all she has to do is give somebody a withering glare, and everybody just falls over themselves trying to do what they can to please her. She runs the town, in a sense, with her wealth, with an iron fist in a way. She even sort of runs the church in the sense that the pastor consults with her, played, by the way, by Carl Malden. And I gotta also bring up Aunt Polly is played by Jane Wyman. So if you know classic actors, yes. I'm just mentioning names. If you don't know classic actors, none of this means anything to you. But Jane Wyman is Aunt Polly. Haley Mills is Pollyanna. She's all grown up now. Carl Malden plays a reverend, which I'm used to seeing him, just this big kind of red nose. And he's just, I don't know. It's weird seeing him as a fire and brimstone preacher who is only preaching fire and brimstone because Aunt Polly tells him that's the best way to go about things, to keep people under control, I guess, or under the thumb. One of the best scenes is him just going to town on a fire and brimstone message that you can tell that even he doesn't necessarily believe, but the people in the church are starting to sweat and squirm uncomfortably at every word he says because they've bought into it. And they know that nobody's allowed to argue with God, especially the man who's voicing for God. And they're not allowed to speak again. And technically, God is also Aunt Polly in this town. Her money pretty much buys anything. And she in a sense, lords it over people. And there's a point where the orphanage busts a pipe or something like that. And there's water flowing everywhere. And apparently, back in those days, it's the early 1900s at this point, because there are electric cars, or not electric, but I mean motor cars at this point. And the orphanage is considered one of the great institutions. This is an era in which orphanages are great institutions in a small town, I guess, because there's a lot of dead parents back then, probably due to, I don't know, pandemics maybe, or war, or something, hunger, I don't know. Anyway, and again, this is a very small town. nobody knows each other. Nobody communicates with each other. Certainly not, if they do, not well. Everybody's kind of on edge. Even Nancy, who is one of Aunt Polly's subordinates, she's not allowed to date one of these local guys in town because Aunt Polly doesn't approve of it. So she has to go behind her back. The woman's not even related to her, telling her who she can date. Mainly because Aunt Polly can't hook it up with the man she likes, and who likes her, but she can't drop that wall. So I'm telling you a whole lot of different little things about the characters. Yes, I don't want to ruin anything about it, because I don't want to ruin everything for you. A movie, you have to understand, of course, is obviously 60 years old, so I can't be spoiling too much. But the fact is, she runs across a number of different people in this town, and with her attitude of thinking of something glad, thinking of making any bad situation better by having a glad take on it, actually starts transforming people. She doesn't push, she doesn't pry, she asks the right questions, she shows genuine care, kindness, and concern for people. And even the most ornery people, Mrs. Snow, who just lies in her bed and thinks she's going to die any moment now. Played by, I gotta say her name, played by Agnes Moorehead, which you would know if you ever watched Bewitched. She's why can I say Eleanor? Not Eleanor. Come on. She's not Eleanor. She's Endora. Come on, Endora. She plays Endora, who's always great fun, and she's amazing in this as well. So if you ever watched Bewitched, Endora has a good, decent chunk of this with her bright red hair. And by the way, this is in Technicolor. It seems like everybody in this movie has the sharpest, brightest blue eyes. I don't know what they did, especially Pollyanna. But go to the church scene. The scene where everybody's sort of squirming in their seats, and they'll cut to different people, different characters you'll meet throughout the movie, and you'll see so many of them have the brightest blue eyes. It's like, this is the whitest town ever. Even the people with slightly darker skin have to have blue eyes, because otherwise, yeah, it's the early 1900s. So, anyway, it's the kind of thing where, like I said before, I go into it a little skeptical, and you're just like, this is going to be schmaltzy and cheesy and whatever. And by the way, I did a little bit of research. That's kind of why this movie didn't do too well at the box office initially, because it appealed to women and girls, but men thought it was just going to be too sticky sweet. And so they didn't have the box office numbers that they had hoped for back in the day. Sure, women and girls went to it, mothers and daughters went to it like crazy. But yeah, no men and boys really. Even though there's a boy in here that Pollyanna befriends, his name's Jimmy Bean, but he's played by Kevin Cochran, which you would recognize him from Swiss Family Robinson, Old Yeller. He's all over these old late 50s, early 60s, and beyond Disney films. By the way, Haley Mills, who plays Pollyanna, you'll recognize her from the first Parent Trap as well. So yeah, this is very much a Disney movie in the sense that it uses a ton of people that have been in a million Disney movies before and after. So yeah, like I was saying, Pollyanna, you think she's going to get real annoying real quick, because you're like, you want to roll your eyes at the idea that you realize she's going up against somebody who's a complete jackass. And you think, oh, like, is she going to win them over with niceness? And yeah, she does, but it's genuine, and she grows on you. And she grew on me. So I guess that's the power of the film. She is absolutely pleasant and adorable, and I like the film. I can't say it's my favorite in the world. I can't see myself watching it over and over and over again. But it's a fun, pleasant Sunday afternoon while cleaning the house. Put that on the background, and you have it'll pull you in every so often. It'll make you laugh a little bit, and you get to see a little girl transform a community, a small town, despite everything set against her, with just simple, unselfish acts of kindness. Something I think we definitely need in this world right now. So yeah, Pollyanna. I didn't expect to like it, but yeah, go for it. This is, yeah, I wasn't expecting much, but it's how can I put this? It's great cast, simple story. The music fits perfectly. The characters, you'll love little Jimmy. By the way, the weirdest thing is I thought this movie could not surprise me. It surprised me in the first 1 second of the film, where literally it starts on a shot of a little boy's ass as it flies away from you and lands in a pond or river or whatever it is. Yes, there's naked little boys at the beginning of a Disney film. That now it's not creepy in any way, but just totally like, hey, it's a Pollyanna. What the heck am I looking at? It's a bare-assed kid, and he's like 9 or something. That was just not something I was expecting to see in a Disney movie. Come on. I'm killing time because, again, I didn't set up my document and my search thing, and it reset itself last night, as it often does. And what am I looking at? That is not what I wanted. Anyway, so yeah, this video is much longer because I'm unprepared, and I refuse to break. But yeah, don't expect bare-ass little boys throughout the film. That's just one weird fluke of 1960 that apparently you can get away with that kind of thing. Do that today? Well, that is not going to ever show up in a Disney film. Maybe animated. But yeah. Anyway, let's pick tomorrow's episode. All right. 596. Let's make it bigger. 596. We're in the those. 596. Oh, hey. This is actually a sequel that we're getting in order, and that I've actually already seen the original. This is The Fox and the Hound 2. We watched The Fox and the Hound. I've lost track. It's been so long, but it's, in this past year, obviously. But we're getting The Fox and the Hound 2. That's where we'll watch it tomorrow on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye.